just had to do a very quick change of remote at the start there. Alright, we should be good. Hopefully stream links up. Yep, stream link is up. I'm just going to tag Ross really quick. Make sure that he's aware that it's up. No, that's not Ross. Alright, my stream is up. Let's see who we are missing here then. So rosters. Hello to everyone that's just joining. It's 14 of us right now. It's Flade, Iggy. No Mzine. Just going for, just trying to sort out something at the moment and see if Mzine does in fact have to join us in Lobby A. But yeah, welcome to everyone. Welcome to everyone who's joining us today. It is week 4 here for the esports series. If you can hear my mic properly, please let me know whether or not it needs to be louder, quieter, or anything of the sort. Before we get going for real here, we've got almost everyone in. So the race is 45, I'm pretty sure I read. It is, yes. Alright, so we will have 45 laps of Fuji. That will have weather randomized. We've got 10 minutes of qualifying that will... Yeah, we'll get qualifying going fairly shortly here. Right, I'm just sorting out that we've got everything that we need to do now. Sorry for the delay. Everything there, you can see the settings. We are on, well, week 4 here, preset weather. For qualifying at Fuji, we'll put in a starting soon message here to the guys, because I'm pretty sure we have everyone that we need. So Flaze and Iggy are the two representing Halix. Halix, after incidents in the last race, in particular from Devil, have a qualifying ban. And therefore, who's turbocharged? Hold on. Just making sure if anyone knows who Turbocharged is. That's not a name I recognize. Oh, God. Right. So we've got Iggy and Flade from Halix, they've got the qualifying ban. We've got Arix, which is Arix Javi, who won the last race in Sardinia, for those who aren't up to date. Then you've got Slim and Kepler, they're all in the Hurricane. So, all Hurricane lineup today for Arix. Let's see how that unfolds. Still not entirely sure why Turbocharged is in here. And if I don't get a name, I'm kicking him. Yeah, Iggy and Flade and Helix, and you've got Javi, Slim, and Keplero in Arix. Then you've got Ryoki, Super GT, and Rupi here for FGR today. Then you've got Beaver, Owen. Oh no, Beaver, Asseldor, and Perry. Two different white and card blue, white and different color card there. And for Project Platypus, the white and red Japan livery tonight. One in the Hurricane, two in the Hurricane, and one in the Vision. And then you've got Team Aero GT in Hurricane, Capale, and Owen. 2 GTRs and a Super, and I still don't know who you are, so out you. Didn't get a name. We're about to go. So, hello Ross, we're just about to start here. I'm pretty sure we're running with 14, so. Yeah. Alright, everyone got their starting soon message. It is currently 8:02. We are going to get started for qualifying. Let's go. Alright, everyone had more than enough time to sort out their aero tuning and their brake balances and everything of the sort in this lobby. We've got the 14 people who are actually meant to be in this lobby in the lobby. We're obviously missing Enzine, but he is in lobby B. He'll be at the back in lobby B later on because of the qualifying ban. He's their nominated driver. And now it's for everything else. Well, essentially, the 5 teams who are at the top of the leaderboard through Sardinia last week. Owen is going to be the first one out today, so we will switch to his POV real quick. Well, I'd say we will, but then Javi's going to go back. So we're going to go back to Javi because he's going to be the first one on the qualifying lap. But yeah. Sardinia was full of interesting surprises left, right and centre. Super GT failing to win his first race of the season. He's still looking to make it 7 from 8 if he can. Helix having a disastrous day at the office there, and Big 2 didn't have much better either. So it allowed Aero GT to creep up into the top 5. They're 4 points clear in the 5th place at the moment. The lead at the front shrunk from, I think it was like 41 to 19 or something of that nature. So it's not a large gap that separates Project Platypus and Helix anymore. Feel Good Racing up there as well. Arix obviously winning the race last time. Could have done a lot better if Kepler hadn't spun away what would have been a 3rd place. In place for instead ending 6th. Would have been a lot closer that actually if he hadn't spun it, but he gets a chance to redeem himself today as we now head down the home straight here at Fuji to start the first qualifying lap here in week 4 of the Esports Series, the 2nd season of this Esports Series. 10 teams, 5 in this lobby, 5 in the other one, in lobby B that's got streaming concurrent to this one. Feel free to have both open if you so wish. But yeah, Avi down through the first corner in 2nd gear. Well, exiting in 2nd gear. Is up to 4th, up through 2, into 3. A 90-degree left-hand turn here for the Lamborghini. It's a little bit deep, but I think he'll manage to survive survive through the lap here, Avi. He's going to go through the looping right-hander. It's a long one. And it's always it's the feature point here in Fuji, that one particular corner, and you can see you get a lot if you go very deep there in some of these exits here at Fuji as they head down into the 3rd sector now. And the 3rd sector is by far the most troubling sector in the lap. You start off with a hairpin followed by a chicane, and you know, not the greatest sign in the world. I guess you could probably call it a double hairpin actually in the chicane. As we head then up the hill, and then you've got a long right-hander followed by a long left-hander, and then a right-hander that sweeps up towards the back of the track, and that is what Javi's just gone through here, and he's going down the straight. So what is the benchmark time that we're going to have here in qualifying, set by the the winner of the last race? That's Sardinia 1 week ago. It's a 37.1 for Javi. Owen behind does a 38.2. Rupee the next one to the line. Only good enough for a 38.2. 38.3 for Capello. Slim 37.9 is a good run there for the Lamborghini. Perry is only good enough for 4th. He did a 38.1, a 38.0 almost to the dot for Flays. A 37.6 for Iggy, which puts him second. 37.627 for Kepler is enough for third. 38.5 for Astledor on his first run is not a good run at all. 37.7 for Beaver, who puts him up into 4th. So, and that is Super GT. There's the man of the hour. Won 2 of the first 3 races. Got second on his own mistake after looking like he was going to come back and win last week. Again, second best to Javi in the first run of qualifying. So, Super GT out-qualified Javi by the smaller of the margins in Road Atlanta in week 1. In which Super GT used a different tyre compound to just drive away that day. It was not much, it was a much different story in Sardinia last week when these two fought again 2 weeks later. In Trial Mountain, it was very much Super GT and Devil, not Alex, so a different fight altogether there. And this week, we look like we're about to go for round 3 here between Javi and Super GT, and 2 heavyweights of this division fighting it out right now. I would like to say that the top 15 from both lobbies will qualify for Lobby A, which will be commentated by yours truly. You'll still be able to see this stream for Lobby A afterwards. The weather will get randomized as a result after this qualifying. We'll see if Super GT is going to do anything here. 38.2 for Astrodor, 38.1 for Rupee, and Super GT is going to stay out. I think Ryoki has just pulled up into the pit, so we'll see what's going on. Super GT 37.2, but it's not enough to get Javi yet, because Javi done a 37.1. He's 400ths of a second off of the back of Javi, who's just come out the pits. Beaver's currently flying on his lap, 57.5 with the lap he just done. That's good enough currently for 3rd place, half a 10th clear of Iggy in 4th, Kepler in 5th, Slim in 6th. You got Flays in 7th, Rupee in 8th. Rupee seems to be attracted to the 8th spot in a qualifying session, but if he can go the right way instead of the wrong way this time, I don't think Super GT will be complaining too much. You go down, yeah, Beaver is not going to be improving on this lap. What about Iggy? He's on an out lap. Keplero, the next driver down, is currently on a flying lap. Javi is the car behind. Potentially we're going to get a slipstream down this back straight when they come out of this corner here. Javi is on an out lap as far as I'm aware. Keplero is currently riding down to the line. Rupee now into the pits, as we've got about 4 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go actually, and Keplero into the pits, almost crossing that white line again. But Javi trying to use the slipstream down the straight. So, see if anyone coming to the line now that's actually going to do anything here. Perry currently a 1/4 of a 10th clear of Ryoki and 3/4 of a 10th down on Rupee. So he's in a FGR sandwich. Super GT now goes into the pits. Let's see, what are we looking at here? Who's the closest person to finishing a lap? Javi's currently on 1. I see Hurricane's on an out lap. So we're going to go to Javi. Let's see if Javi's going to improve here then. Well, it could be yet another massive day at the office here for Javi. He won last week. Potential statement win. He has 2 esports wins under his career, under his belt now. One on the final race of last season at the Nordschleife, when it didn't really matter. That title was wrapped up well before then. Well, effectively wrapped up well before then. And then he obviously got the win last week in Sardinia, which is much more of a meaningful win given the fact that it's the middle of the season and Arex need to play a little bit of catch up on the 3 that they're fighting with. The top 4 seem to be a little bit clear from the rest of the pack in terms of the actual standings through the 10 teams. Javi to the line now. Let's see if he can do something to improve. It didn't look too great on the exit of the final corner. A little bit squirrely there. As he heads toward the line. Is he going to do better than his 37.1 though? No, he is not even close. The next person in the line is Beaver. Is there going to be an improvement here with 1 minute and 15 left on the clock? There is. It's a 37.4 and he gains about a tempo on Iggy, who did not look too great through the final corner there. 38.0 for Owen. It's good enough to take him into 8th. I think we might be about to see a flurry of better laps. In comes Slim, 37.7. That's good enough for 6th. Iggy did not improve. Let's see who's the next one on the line. Ryoki, is he going to improve? He is. 37.9. That's good enough for 7th. And this is the best qualifying we've seen from him all season. Who's the next one to the line? It'll be Super GT, but he's on an outlap. We will actually continue to follow him as soon as Hurricane's gone over the line here. Hurricane looking to improve his lap time, but he's only at 39.3. It's not a good run in any way, shape, or form for him here. Capel as well, 13th. Needs to pick up the pace. We currently have... We're going to go on to Super GT. Actually, I think we might go on to Super GT at the end of qualifying here, because I think everyone's going to be on their final laps now. And it is going to be the case. So Javi is going to be the first one to the line. Don't know who's going to follow him. It's going to be Beaver that follows him in. Okay, so final lap. The time just ticked over. Javi's got a straight to go. Will he improve? That is a very wide line on the exit of the final corner again, and it's a penalty, so no, he will not improve. That's the end of his qualifying. So the 37.1 on his first lap, I'm pretty sure, with enough for Javi at this moment to have provisional pole. Beaver coming to the line. Is he going to be able to improve on this time? Will he be able to take it to the top 2? No, he will not. Owen next to the line. He did improve. It's a 37.9. Let's see, Caplero as well. Perry's got a 37.8. Slim next one to the line. Is Slim going to improve? No, he is not. Caplero also unable to improve. 37.8 for Flade. They're only good enough for 8th. And that's Hasseldor, who goes 37.9. And I think that might be good enough for 10th. Ryoki is the next one to the line. It is an improvement. Good enough for 7th at the moment. And then we're going to go to Super GT and to Rupee. These two to the line now. They're to the final 3. Rupee is not going to improve. It means he is not going to be in the top, in the higher lobby if you go from previous weeks. And Super GT is not able to improve. And Javi is once again on pole position. Actually, not once again. That's his first pole position of the season, I think. I was remembering last week where Super GT actually did beat him out by about 4/10 of a second. It looked like it's a return on the favour here from Javi. Just about. But Javi is going to take pole position here. Super GT second in qualifying. He got beat a couple of weeks ago in qualifying by Devil by almost a quarter of a second this time. Nowhere near that margin, but he is beat to the line. He's going to start in the front row, but he's only going to start in second. Beaver's going to start in third. That's a good run there for the Project Platypus driver. Then you got Iggy in fourth. He's comfortably in. Kepler in fifth. And Slim in sixth. So Arex, 3 guys in the top 6. It's a great day in qualifying for them. Then you got Ryoki in seventh. So that's at least multiple people in Lobby A for FGR. And Ryoki is finally doing some sort of qualifying for us, because he has been absolutely atrocious up to this point in the season for someone who's so highly rated in time trial. Now he's showing us a little glimpse of that pace. Down in 7th. Perry in 8th for Project Platypus, so 2 in the top 8 for them. Then you got Flades in 9th. The second Halex driver in Lobby A should probably make it through with that. And then you've got Asador in 10th. 37 and 37 ninth for Project Platypus. That should be enough for all three of them to get into the top lobby. Capel, 8 thousandths of a second slower than Asseldor. He's in 11th. Owen, a further 21 thousandths of a second slower than Capel. He should be safe as well. And then you've got Rupee 38-1, and Hurricane is definitely going to be in lobby B with a 39-3. Javi absolutely nailing qualifying. Absolutely nailed qualifying there, Javi. Incredible. I said last week when we were looking at when we were watching Javi win after the mistake from Super GT that they might have been a follow-on statement win. Even more of a statement win than his first one last season. And he looks to be continuing that momentum on to tonight. Let's see if he can continue it on into the full race. I'm just getting a quick drink there. But with that, it's qualifying. So it is potential. The qualifying in esports is done under SO1. Everything should be the same across both lobbies. However, race is going to be on custom weather. So rain might be a factor here. Rain might be a factor. It is possible on this track. If we get it, it might be huge. I am hoping for a little bit of rain here. I want to see what these guys can do when put under a little bit of pressure in changing conditions. That's what I want to see. I don't know if this game is going to give that to me, but that is what I want to see up to this point. The only other race that can rain on the calendar, I'm pretty sure, is Le Mans at the end of the season. That will be just the Lobby A, that one. That is the final race of the season as a whole. Bearing in mind, we split in... we go through, well, what we coined as the elimination phase last week. At the end of week 6. So the top 5 at the end of week 6 will qualify for week 7 and week 8. Week 7 being Interlagos, week 8 being Le Mans. Those two races will be a little bit longer in length, but will be double points, which will allow for teams that are just about that are in with a chance to potentially steal it from a rival. But we're only on week 4 as it stands, and I think we've just got through Lobby A and Lobby B here, so we will end that race, allow people to go in and out of everything here. I am going to split this into just a race now, 45 laps. We will turn custom weather on, and we will turn the variables times rate up as well. The random the entire way through. You see, 9 slots. All will be random. We've got a grid with full start check. It will be set by host. I need to figure that out momentarily. Hopefully it's allowed to change here. Let's have a look at what we've got here. So in this one then, Rupee is the last qualifier. Okay. So did anyone drop from our lobby? Yeah, Hurricane. Hurricane is the only person to not make it. So we have 13 from Lobby A qualifying into the race here.
Oh, I did get someone's position wrong, for fuck's sake.
I just put weather on random.
Yeah, I've told Auto to do that as well.
Yeah, it didn't change anything, which is a shame. It just gave us wind and not rain, which is a giant shame. But let's hope for some rain later on. I should be fine for settings.
I'm just double checking some of these times.
No, why
Oh my god, I did 48 for Hollywood instead of 38. That would do it.
You've done it there, Ross.
I've just
you've
started him in
nailed
last
it.
position.
Absolutely nailed it.
Once
Okay, so
again, every single week.
you get one wrong every single time.
Every time.
So every single person apart from Hurricane qualified from Lobby A.
Yeah, that's right.
That is
Well,
insane.
actually, technically no, because MZine didn't as well.
M-Team technically isn't in Lobby A, that's the point. He's on a qualifying ban, so that's just inflated stats. Come on.
So we have two moving up, and it's the 2v2 boys, Snipes and Mortal. Absolutely no surprise there. Snipes is starting in 8th place after obliterating that final lap, and then Mortal P11, less than a 10th behind him.
Yeah. And also, it seems to be that every second week at the moment, Super GT does not end on pole for the actual qualifying session. And this time Javi's beaten him out. 4 hundredths of a second. I'll get there eventually. Yeah, 4 hundredths of a second split them two. So Javi looks to be attempting anyway to continue momentum.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised because Javi did really, really well last week, but we know how quick Super GT is. So yeah, this is the second time in a row he's not actually qualified on pole, I think.
I can't remember if he did last week. I'm pretty sure it was reverse, effectively the same gap, but in reverse last week. I know he didn't qualify first Trial Mountain.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was Super GT by about half a tenth last week to Javi, funny enough.
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'm just setting up the grid at the moment so you're not missing anything. There's your share screen.
Yeah, Ahmed on pole position. So he joined incredibly late for Falcon because Reaper couldn't join because of internet issues, I think. So just picked it up and nearly got himself into Lobby A, which would have been pretty impressive.
Flaze is 10th. Mortal is 11th.
Yeah.
Asador is 12th. Then it's Capel, Owen, Rupee. You want to run over this real quick and make sure this is the right order from 15th?
Yeah, go to the top. All those are right. So we got Flaze 10th, Perry 9th, Snipes, Ryoki. Good qualifying for Ryoki in 7th. Slim in 6th, Kep. Wow, 3 of the top 6 are Arex guys.
Yeah.
Kep in 5th. Then we got Iggy in 4th, then Big Beaver, Super GT, and Javi.
Yeah. Alright, that is right then. They will get their customary starting soon message.
Let's go.
I think we're all but good. We're not getting any rain at the start of the race anyway, which is slightly depressing. Alright, everything seems to be set. Give them a minute to make sure they've got everything exactly as they need it. And then we'll get going.
The 2v2 boys' cars aren't showing up on the right. That's a bit weird.
Yeah,
They have entered though, so...
The cars are there. This gets bugged, it gets bugged. Oh no, we might have a chance of rain. That is for reasons, that is a joke. I'm not having anybody try and get at me in chat
rain
for
in
that.
ALR.
I'm not having anyone getting at me in chat or the Esports chat after when they watch this back for that at all. That is a joke. But yeah, Ryoki is finally showing some sort of qualifying pace. But Arex are on fire right now.
Arex looking to close the gap. They're in 4th place in the championship, but they could definitely increase a position or two if they can convert this qualifying pace into a race result as well. They're known for fumbling the bag. Kepler did it last week, spinning from a podium position.
Alright, yep, he did. And I was saying that in qualifying as well. It's just trying to... They were essentially just got to close the mistakes off, and they might be able to nail in a couple of really good races and catch down Halix. Obviously, it doesn't really fully matter until week 6, realistically, week 6, 7, and 8. But you know, being as close as possible, making those final 2 double points week counts is something you have to do. Right, so 3, 4, 5 red lights. Who's getting off to a better start? It's lights out and away we go. That Lambo is off to a flyer. Absolutely out the gate straight away. Let's see if he's going to be able to hold on. Iggy looks to have got a good start in the Mazda as well. He's alongside Super GT as they head down into turn 1. He's got the inside line. Is he going to get the position here? As Super GT's been forced to the outside. The Mazda should be good enough for a split second. Is he going to be able to do it? They're going to go side by side into turn 3. No, he is not good enough to get that done. As we head further down real quick, see Snipes is up in the 5th already. Slim in 6th, so he stayed as he was. Perry up a position and Kepler bottled the start.
Yeah, really good start there for Snipes to get all the way up into P5 in the BMW there. Also a really good start for Iggy. Unfortunately couldn't get past Super GT. That might have been crucial. We've got Kepler and Perry battling for P7 now. Arix versus Project Platypus. We've seen this before. Perry's got the inside line as we drag race all the way down into Sector 3 into this tight chicane that we're about to enter. Everyone seems to be still with the lead pack. Asador up in 8th as well. Manages to get past Kepler.
Yeah, and we're just going to go up a little bit at the moment. Yeah, you said Asador making moves there. Slim and Snipes coming together, and that allowed Perry up the inside. Perry got the inside line and Slim then forced wide again by Snipes. And Perry is just going to take massive advantage. He's still got to go here against Snipes. Tries to cut back. Oof. Does not get it. Almost ran straight into the back of the BMW that doesn't have a livery.
Yeah, he's got the slipstream as we head on to lap 2, and Iggy has past Super GT and all that as well, so couldn't get past him in turn 1, but has got the advantage. And now Super GT falling backwards into Big Beaver's grasp. Big Beaver trying to get into the podium positions in his first race of the season for Project Platypus. Really late on the brakes. Looks like he's going to get that move done pretty tidy. And is Super GT on mediums? Or is he?
Yes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense now.
So Super GT is running the opposite of what everyone else is doing at the moment. So that could be interesting when it comes to later in the race. Perry's up in the 5th, by the way. He finally did get Snipes, which is the battle we were watching prior to the final corner. And then Slim, Asador in 8th, Flays in 9th. Kepler has had the worst possible start. Owen in 11th, Ryoki in 12th, and then you got Mortal in 13th, who I guess hasn't started too well either. And Capel in 14th, and then Rupee has got to start heading in the right direction. Super GT getting no help again.
Yeah, but all 3 drivers crucially in this lobby for FGR, which is crucial for racking up the points. But yeah, Super GT's got an interesting job on his hands because he's going to lose the top 3. Potentially Perry's going to start causing him problems as well, which would be absolutely perfect for Big Beaver. Capel and Flays now going side to side. Flays just trying to hold off Capel there. Looks like he's succeeded in it in the Lexus. We know the Lexus is very, very quick around Fuji.
Ah, yes, that great big white and blue car of Capel, as if it's black and gold of Kepler, who goes to the inside and gets the move done on Flays. And there you go, move done. Up in the 9th, he's got to start recovering quickly. Slim is going to be catching up with Snipes. He's got to get that position back as well. We'll see if anything is going to come up some of these strategy calls as well. Super GT now off of the second, off the back of Beaver, as I think Slim and Snipes were almost going at it down into turn 1 there.
Yeah, Snipes struggling a little bit at the moment, and Slim trying to look for a move. Snipes looks like he's got good pace on him though, holding off Slim, who's purple himself. So yeah, it's difficult because all of these drivers are still very, very close together. I think the race could still turn on its head completely, but it's looking pretty good for Javi at the front. He's started to gap Iggy a little bit, but everyone else just queuing up behind each other, trying to get in a good position to take advantage of some slipstream maybe.
Yeah, and they're not gonna get too much of it down into the 3rd sector, albeit Slim might be having a go. Slim is gonna have a go. Is he gonna have enough stopping on that car? I think he might have. Snipes it there, and they're still inside, and he's still there and thereabouts, and he still somehow in front of Slim after all that. Kepler goes to the inside of Astrodor. Well, he goes
Kepler took full advantage of that because everyone else was going slow because those two were side by side, and Kepler managed to poke his way in front, but Snipes is spinning. Flays looks like he's a bit wobbly as well. Everyone's come together at the same time. Snipes trying to get his position back.
Oh, Snipes has hit him!
And there's an RX around. Snipes is around as well. It's all going wrong. There's another RX car around as well. Kepler, Slim, and Snipes are the first casualties of this race.
That looked like... So, from what we didn't get good camera angles of that in any way, shape, or form. But what that looked like, so the corner, a couple of corners back, looked like Slim may have tagged Snipes through the corner, and then Snipes has turned in back. So Snipes is not even close to the inside of the corner there. Gets Slim, spins Slim around, and well, Kepler was an unfortunate casualty of that as well. I
think looking at this, Slim might be at fault here. Snipes was fully ahead and he kind of tapped him around, and then the kind of tapping just continued because there was about 6 cars all at the same piece of tarmac and heading into the final corner, which is difficult enough to take. And then all of the spinning happened. This is really bad for V2, by the way. V2 trying to claw their way back into the top 5, and Arix trying to catch up to the guys in the top 3, and it's just gone completely wrong for them.
Yeah, Arix in particular, the one that's lost it there, considering they've just had 2 drivers wiped out in about a matter of seconds after what was such a good qualifying for them as well. Everything's just gone wrong, and I think we might be seeing a couple of streams reports off that one, those couple of corners. I think the first one might be attributed to Slim, and the second one absolutely attributed to Snipes. I don't think we need to see too much of the one at the top of the hill to make a judgment call there. We'll wait and see until we get another
look who it's benefited the most, though. Aero, GT, both started outside the top 10, both inside the top 10 now.
Yeah, I would argue that potentially your biggest, Ryoki and Rupee as well. I think they both might be a bigger winner here. Rupee's gained the 3 positions, obviously, from the crash. 3 free positions,
you're right. 3 free positions for both of them, and huge amounts of positions lost for Arix, who are trying to chase them down, as it looked like Capel has a half-second penalty there, which is going to probably cost him a good 2 or 3 positions.
It's certainly going to cost him the mortal. I don't know if it's enough to Rupee in the background there. We'll wait and see. This is a relatively brutal penalty zone compared to the one we had last week, which was in the middle of the corner for some godforsaken reason. There was effectively just not a penalty if you got a penalty last week. But this one is going to be significantly more brutal. It's in their straight line, and you're pretty much all the way up to speed by the time you get it. As we go up the grid, let's see if anyone is fighting. Astrodor's also up to 7th as a result of all that. Perry up in 5th, Flayed up in 6th. So there's a few teams that have gained a lot out of these mistakes, shall we say. The Flay's also half spun his car. He was involved in the incident between the original incident between Slim and Snipes, as were I think half the grid.
Yeah, but this is great news for Perry. Perry got away from that big group battling, and now he is giving Super GT a very hard time here. 0.2 of a second behind. He might actually go for the move here. He's on the soft tires. Super GT's on the mediums. Perry should be getting this overtake done, and then that's a Project Platypus P3 and P4 in this lobby, and P7, which is going to be a huge haul of points if they can finish like this. Here he goes.
He's got to the inside. He should have this inside line. Is he going to have a decent braking marker? Super GT is still there. Still on the outside. A good enough exit could do it. He's still there, but Perry is finally going to get in front right at the exit of turn 2.
I can't believe they both made it with how tight Super GT was pinching Perry there. And yet Super GT is the big loser here, dropping all the way outside the top 4 now, which is unheard of for Super GT. But Perry is on a charge. He needs to start gapping Super GT now. But what's crucial is that if he doesn't gap Super GT and he starts holding Super GT up as these soft tires start wearing, that's great news for Big Beaver, who's on the opposite strategy, to start gapping Super GT for when the roles reverse and he's on the mediums.
Yeah, the only issue he's going to have with this is that not only is he doing a job for Beaver, he's also doing a job for Harvey and Iggy as well. And they're the other 2 teams, obviously, in the top 5, we have all 4 of the teams currently fighting for the title. through week 3. So, yeah, it's a double-edged sword, so to speak. 'Cause if he does, there's a bit of help there. Oh, he had a bit of a moment. He somehow survived that. And now Super GT, if having a moment of his own, is going to have a lot of straight line, well, a lot of slipstream down the straight. Is he going to have the straight line speed, however, in order to get past this Mazda by the time we hit the braking zone? Obviously at the front.
Perry's going defensive. Perry's going defensive, and it looks like Super GT is going to go more to the right to try and get alongside, and he does get alongside. Advantage Super GT as we head into turn 1 once again.
He's in front. He doesn't even need turn 1. He's got that one. Oh, a little bit of a switchback. Are we seeing a little bit of a switchback? He shouldn't be able to get this because it's inside to the left on turn 3. And Super GT, a little bit of a barge there, but is going to hold on. Again, another switchback attempt here by Perry to the outside. Here on the sweeping right-hander, and Super GT is just going to come out and shut that door. And quite frankly, he needed to do that because Perry was just getting a little bit too confident with his switchbacks going through the first couple of corners.
He's trying it again. He's pulling slightly alongside. He could definitely get Super GT under braking into this chicane that's coming up. He's trying to go alongside. He's not fully alongside. He's going to have to be brave in the braking. He doesn't, and he slots back behind Super GT. Couldn't do it yet, but I don't think it's over. And in the meantime, they are losing time to Big Beaver now. And yeah, they might lose a little bit more time, and it's allowing Flays to slowly close in on them as well.
Yeah, which is obviously not good news for these two, because Flays and Halix are currently at the top of the championship. So Perry and Beaver need to beat Flays by as much as they physically can, because, well, Iggy's gained a little bit of a gap already, and might be him and Javi fighting for the lead of the race. That might be a penalty.
If he's going into the pits, no, he's not.
Dummy.
That was
dummy
weird.
call. Dummy call.
Yeah. Dummy call, maybe trying to get out of the slipstream as well, and if that was his intention, it absolutely worked, because Perry was not following him into the pits there, and Super GT keeps that position for now, but like I said, it's still not over. Perry's still got plenty of life left in those soft tyres. Yeah,
you've also got to remember that Perry is in the Mazda, and we all, well, me and you in particular, know about how bad those Mazda brakes actually are, so we won't expect anything going into braking zones here from Perry, because he has to brake significantly earlier than that BMW for certain. Flays is there in the background as well. Yeah, Super GT does seem to be holding Perry up now. Perry's had his chance though. It's not like Perry hasn't had his chances to overtake. He's definitely had his opportunities, so as much as he is holding him up, it's just, well, Perry will have to kind of lament missed opportunities instead of being more annoyed at Super GT for Super GT's apparent lack of pace on the medium tyres.
Perry's tyres are starting to get a little bit worn now, so maybe his advantage that he had over Super GT, given Super GT's pace in general, might be on the wane. He just needs to get a really good slingshot out the final corner and Super GT to make a little mistake, but I don't think that's going to happen. But at the front, something might happen, because Iggy's closed in on Javi now.
Yeah, Javi, these two are both on soft tyres, relatively similar soft tyres at that. As we go down the straight, Iggy within 6/10 at the start is not going to be close enough by any means. That is a surprising lack of bite into that lead as they head down into turn 1. Lamborghini very clearly tuned well in order to defend from the lead here, as Iggy is setting a purple sector 1 against Javi, who's got the purple lap at this point in time. 37.4 is currently the fastest lap of the entire race. And you've got Beaver 3 seconds back, 4 second split Beaver and Super GT as well. Perry half a second to Super GT, and then 1.5 to Flays, who's currently in 6th and got a little bit of a gap now to Asador in 7th, who's fighting Ryoki, who has actually lost the place since the start of the race.
Flays a little bit wobbly there through the corner, but managed to save it pretty comfortably. So yeah, it's everyone's starting to gap a little bit, apart from maybe Iggy and Javi at the front. But yeah, good.
We're going to go back to that because it's now 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, Iggy putting a lot of pressure on Javi now.
Yeah, up the hill. He's got to get this done sooner rather than later. You'd think Iggy would be far more happy defending from the front with the Mazda rather than chasing that Lambo, that seems to be relatively good around here. He's 7/10 of a second back. He's further away than he was on the last lap, so we know what's going to happen here. Iggy is not going to be able to catch this up. Javi's going to be in the lead for yet another lap as we head into lap 10 of 45 here. Fuji, and there is no rain in sight still. It's about as clear of a day as you could possibly get. GT immediately proves me wrong with black clouds, with grey clouds in the background.
Yeah, I wonder what Iggy's fuel looks like. I wonder if he's fuel saving behind Javi at the moment. No, they've got identical fuel. Iggy's definitely been pushing on this stint. So I was thinking if there was going to be a chance for Iggy to just get him in the pits, but it depends how much fuel they both put in for the next stint. Yeah,
also, whilst these two have been fighting, Beaver's caught up 4/10 of a second. It's now just over 2.5. So he's starting to reel them in just a little bit, and the longer these two fight, the better this is for Beaver, who needs to get himself onto the back of these two to get himself away from the guys behind. Super GT is starting to close back in on Beaver as well, as Perry has well and truly dropped off the back of the FGR driver.
Flay's actually closing in on Perry as well, so potentially Perry starting to make a little mistake or two at this point, but still running a strong 5th place for Project Platypus. And then we have a huge gaggle of cars. Looks like Asador is becoming the cork in the bottle for Ryoki and Owen, who's joined the battle now as well.
Yeah, and we won't go look at that very quickly because we're actually significantly closer than we were on the last lap. 2/10 to be specific. As we go down the straight, it is 5.5. Is 5.5 enough? I think it is enough for Javi to stay in the lead down this straight. I don't think he's close enough. Iggy's actually not closing that gap down by any means whatsoever. It's 5.5 at the start of the straight. It's 5.5 at the end of the straight.
Yeah, I saw Iggy short shifting actually coming out of the last corner, so potentially he's just comfortable at this point trying to save a little bit of fuel behind Javi and get dragged along in the slipstream, which is the smart thing to do if you don't think you've got enough to get an overtake done.
Yeah, that might be the case. Beaver opening up a little bit again to Super GT. That gap has gone back north of 4 seconds. Perry 1.4 ahead of Flays, but also 1.4 behind Super GT as well. So that gap seems to be relatively stable. Ryoki is now within 6/10 of Asador. They fight for 7th. Owen is in that fight as well. 7th, 8th, and 9th are going, well, will sooner rather than later be going hammer and tongue down, especially down the back straight. Capel further 3 seconds back with Mortal right on the back of his car. 2 teammates in Monday League, not teammates tonight. As we see Slim in 12th as well, so he's started to recover from the calamity that was the incidents between him and, as soon as I say that, he gets a half-second penalty.
Yeah, he went really deep on the exit of that cambered corner at the bottom of the track. But yeah, Capel's just dropped off the back of the front pack, and he's getting caught by these guys who had their moments together.
Yeah,
Snipes, unfortunately, in last place right now.
Looking at the tyres for everyone, so it's softs for the bottom 4, 5, 6. I think it's everyone but Super GT is on soft. Yeah, that is the case.
I think so as well.
Okay, so that is the case. Iggy is still way too far behind Javi in order to make this work. Still, look, if anything, I think Javi might have slightly more fuel now, and the answer to your question is Flays. Flays is in the pits, so 12% left on his fuel, which is an interesting one. They're not running the fuel dry in the first stint here.
Yeah. This is a very early pit stop. I was expecting people to come in maybe lap 12 earliest, because this should be a 2-stop race. Unless he's going to do mediums, or he's planning a very long final soft stint to try and get a big undercut on people, because he could get Perry on an undercut here.
It is potential, considering the Lexus had a lot of fuel. I mean, you can see when they went in at the same time there, Snipes and Flays. Snipes has 5%, where Flays has 12%. So you can tell that everything is going on here. Capel defending from Mortal in the long right-hander and doing it relatively well. Just about holding on to the position, but staying in 9th for the moment. Being in Slim and obviously Kepler are the two that are behind them. They've got to find a way back into this. Because, here comes Mortal to the inside of the chicane. Well, the hairpin. followed by a chicane, and it looked like Capel is going to hold on.
Ooh,
not by
a little bit wobbly from Capel, but he keeps the position. But they are losing even more time to Owen in P8. And Slim slowly trying to catch up to them, but he had his penalty to serve, but he's still only maybe a second behind as well.
Yeah, and also Ryoki on the back of Asador. These three, again, you don't want to be the third man in a train. Javian.
I was about to say Iggy's P1, but that's because Javi has blinked first. He's coming into the pits, as is Ryoki.
Yeah.
So Javi has a good chance of an undercut on Iggy to extend his lead. Iggy's really got to put his foot down on this lap if he wants to get him. Lots of drivers coming into the pits now trying an undercut. Be interested to see where they all come out in relation to Flays and Snipes, who was in last place. So if he manages to jump anyone in the pits, he's done pretty well with that strat.
Yeah, and also Slim is about to catch Mortal, get within that second, and it's going to be all downhill from there. For Mortal, as we know, the RX drivers have a lot of pace to them today. It's just a case of whether or not they can survive long enough to show that pace, which hasn't been the case so far.
It's the story of the journey through ALR. The pace to win, and just things happen every single race.
Yeah, this time you can attribute it to whether or not you want to say the first one's at fault, the first incident caused the things, or the second one in its outright entirety. You can be arguing that one all day if you so wish, but in any scenario, it was not a very clean end of that lap, and Snipes is probably in trouble, Slim's probably in trouble, and I can't imagine there'll be a few drivers behind them that are too happy either.
Yes, especially Kepler, who I think was completely innocent in all of that.
I think Kepler was too far back to be anything other than an innocent party. So we go through here. Asador in fifth. In comes Iggy.
Is he coming in? Iggy's finally in, as is Big Beaver. Super GT's going to carry on his medium tyres, so he's trying to do as long as possible before switching. Everyone else looks like they're coming into the pits on this lap, so not confident on their tyres or their fuel, one or the other depending on the car.
Okay, Mortal in as well. Kepler in. Javi, obviously, the next car. Slim stayed out an extra lap, so Slim is going to inherit second for now, as he is going to attempt to come back. Here we go. This is what we want to know. Javi versus Iggy. Where are they coming out? Javi's just crossed the line to start lap 14. Iggy is coming down, and Iggy is in the lead, and Beaver's caught him as well.
Beaver's going side by side. Looks like Javi's deep into turn one. That's going to allow Beaver to close in. Javi's definitely lost the position to Iggy and is going to be under pressure in these opening corners from Big Beaver. Are they all on mediums now?
All I'm going to say, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is Beaver's got significantly less fuel than the other two, but Beaver has caught up a significant gap. So he is not going to complain. He might have less fuel to run, obviously, but he is going to be happy that he's got rid of the 2 seconds. He's now on the attacking pack. He is in the front three for real now, and he has a chance. There is obviously an opportunity here for him if he is able to take it. The top three now split within a tenth of a second each. Slim.
And another crucial point to make is Big Beaver, by underfueling, extends the gap that he's going to have over Super GT when he eventually pits, which means that Super GT shouldn't catch up to him on this stint.
We're about to find out. We're about to find out, because in comes Super GT on no fuel.
On 0%. I wonder if he got into the pits in time. Slim following him.
I think Slim just about gets in correctly as well. Here we go. So this is where we're going to find out how far Super GT has to go. And I can only assume there's going to be a second medium stint coming here for Super GT. I don't think you'll do too soft and get away with it. So I would assume there's going to be a second. Oh no, he is going on to softs. He's on 52%, and I think he might be attempting a little bit of the alternate strategy, because he's jumped himself, and he's definitely tapped Javi, and he saved him as well. But he's got the position. I think that might be a rudimentary push to pass, but we'll wait and see.
It did look a bit suspicious. Let's see. Let me have a quick look on the replay.
I don't think he's going to have too much of an argument against that one. But yeah, he's done a little bit different. He's done something a tad bit different. He's gone on to his soft second. He's got himself into second place on the entire race. Yeah. So he's got himself involved. It was I don't know if it's going to be a good strategy call come later, but from this point of view, it's a blinding strategy call. He's got himself from 4 or 5 seconds further back. He's now fighting for the lead of the race. He's on better tyres, obviously. He's on the soft tyres. Iggy and company are on the medium tyres. So Super GT, if he gets this right, could find himself pitting on his second stint in the lead of the race, which is something I didn't think I would say a couple of laps ago. This is an interesting choice of strategy. He's fueled up a lot less. He's on the favoured tyre. He needs to... I mean, he's not actually catching Iggy on this lap, but I'm sure he'll reel in Iggy fairly... Oh, very wide there. Fairly soon, and he needs to basically overtake Iggy and create multiple seconds of gap, because he's going to have to come in and probably put on mediums for the end of the race. Everyone else is going to put on softs and have the pace advantage on him again. So this is his one opportunity. It nearly worked for him. He couldn't get into P1. Just about got into P2, but we'll have to see about that. And Iggy's got a big job on his hands, because if he can hold up Super GT, then Super GT is not finishing on the podium today. Yeah, and we'll be going back to back. Super GT will do another soft stint. He's going to have to do more than one soft stint then. Because he is not making it from the end on the two-stop within this situation.
17 laps and 8. Oh, and a penalty. Disaster for Super GT. He's probably pushing a little bit too hard, a little bit distracted, because Iggy's right there on slower tyres as well. No, I don't think Super GT is going to be able to do 17 and 18 laps on the softs. I would like to point out that Super GT put barely just over the halfway point, and he did it at 14 on his medium tyres on the halfway with fuel. So, I mean, it's not entirely impossible. Oh, it's absolutely impossible. He's going to go on mediums for the rest. I don't know. I don't know if the softs will run out that quickly. It's interesting. I just think he might run out towards the end more than he might anticipate, but I think he might try it. Oh, he's got a little bit wide again. That could be another penalty for Super GT. Obviously, when you've got on the soft tyres, you just got such a pace advantage on everyone else. But he's going to serve this half second. He's very, very close to Iggy. He would have probably got an overtake done on this lap without this. Javi's going to get past him. Or is he? They're going to go down the straight now. Is he going to go back up to speed? Here comes Javi. Javi is going to get by him rather easily, actually. And now Super GT not only has one person to go by, he has two. Is he going to try a dive bomb in this big braking zone into turn 1? He doesn't for now, but now he's got 2 drivers to overtake. So his task is double as difficult as it was before. These guys do not make mistakes, so he's going to have to do it on merit. And Big Beaver, meanwhile, is still in the hunt here. We go further down. Nassador and Flays. It's Nassador, Flays, Slim, and Jesus Christ, it's everyone else. As we go through four cars right here. Flays is just ahead of Nassador. It's mediums versus mediums here. Nassador has not significantly, but he has less fuel in than Flays as well. Flays right now doing enough to hold position. Slim behind is on softs. I think he potentially, he definitely had his pit stop. He pitted the same lap as Super GT, so he's going to try, I guess, and do the same kind of work that Super GT is going to do. But his final stint will be a medium tyre, not a soft. Slim, here we go. Is it potentially to the outside here? I'm going to actually go to a chase cam here, because this is... Yeah, they're all over the place on the TV cam. Yeah, the TV camera is pointing to the floor, not the car. So we're going to watch this battle on chase cam before we go back to TV at the front. Nassador is still trying to give Flays a little bit of a hard time. Slim again, losing the control of his car. We saw that happen earlier. Here comes Nassador into Flays! Makes contact with Flays. That was bad. Yeah, that is absolute penalty for Nassador. Slim gains 2 positions. That's the easiest positions that he'll ever get in ALR. Owen as well gains 2 positions. He's just 7 tenths behind now. Absolute disaster for Nassador and Flays, who are now 8th and 9th, just ahead of Ryoki, who's going pretty slow on his mediums. He must have just served a penalty, promoting Keplero back into the top 10. And after all that, it's all going off. I think that was almost identical to what Slim did to, Snipes did to Slim on the same corner earlier on. So Slim is going to take the positions. I mean, probably had a bit of a question answer on later on in the stewards, but it's
definitely.
Bit of good fortune for Arix finally.
Yeah, he lost 3 earlier on the incident with Snipes. He gained 2 of that back on an incident between Astrodon and Play. So he's going to get away with it a little bit here, but he's also got a penalty, so Owen might be chomping at the beat.
Position. What's going on in the top 4? Looks like Javi's just lost position to Super GT as we headed into the chicane there. So Super GT's finally made it past 1. He's still over a second behind Iggy though, and he was right behind Iggy when he served that penalty. So that 1/2 second is costing Super GT massively on this stint. His soft tyres are already starting to wear a little bit.
Well, that did not look like the greatest of entrances into that corner I've ever seen, or the exit for that matter either. But we'll see if he catches up to Iggy down the straight here. Javi is going to have a good run at Super GT, but the question is whether or not that's going to be a good enough run. We'll also have a look further down in the pack once these guys hit the end of the straight here, because they have a significant gap to the rest of the field. Perry being a bit of a poor cork in the bottle right now, and it's not going to happen into turn 1. So we're going to go back a little bit and see what's happening. So we got... I'm actually going to stay on Ryoki's point of view here, because we've got a nice little view of Astrodor versus Keflero in front of us. Lamborghini versus Lamborghini. Astrodor keeps shifting to the right just to try and shut off Keflero a little bit as we head down into turn 1. Ryoki's just going to take the smart move and go to the outside. Oh, and he's going to go too far!
Moved too late. He moved to the left way too late, and Ryoki just collects him, and another incident for Astrodor. The second in 2 laps drops him down to 13th now, and it was looking really good for Project Platypus. Not anymore in this race.
I think, I don't know whether or not you're going to class that as moving under brake, and I think you probably would. I think Astrodor might be in a little bit of trouble again there.
I've just seen it on the replay. He does move to the left in the braking zone.
Oh, and there goes Ryoki! Unforced error there by Ryoki. Too much to the outside, and it's round. That's got nothing to do with anyone else. It's just a mistake again from FGR.
Yeah, FGR in 13th and 15th now, so not going to be a good points haul for FGR as it stands, because they don't even have the lead of the race at the moment, and they're on a very different strategy, which we don't know how it's going to work out for Super GT, but he's still behind Iggy. I wonder if he's caught up yet.
We'll take a look now, actually, because they are going toward the end, and he's in perfect timing as he watched down the straight with Super GT on the inside. It's favourable against the Mazda's braking as well, and he'd gone a little bit deep, and it opened the door, but Iggy is unable to take the switchback opportunity, and there goes the lead of the race back. Well, I would say back, he hasn't had it yet. Super GT taking the lead of this race for the first time with a nice little shifty move on the inside, and it's going to take, well, if he is going to do the soft, this might take a lot of beating now.
I still think the soft's impossible. I think what he needs to do now is create at least a 5-second gap on Iggy. He needs to be putting in quali times from here until the tyres give in. I mean, they're not optimal right now as it is, but if he has to go on the mediums, he'll get a little bit of an undercut on these guys when he comes into the pits as well, as long as he doesn't come out in traffic. Well, and then he's going to have a huge pace disadvantage for the last 14, 13 laps of the race.
We say that, but I do want to point something out. He came in on lap 14, which means he only had 31 left of the race to go, which is only a 15 and a 16 stint. So forgetting the fact that he might need 17 laps of fuel, not even relevant here. He did 14 on the fuel, on half fuel last time. He'd gone over that, so he probably could do 15 here. And those tyres, he's gone through 5 or 6 laps already, and those tyres do not look like giving up soon, within 10 at the very least.
We'll have to see. If he does it, he's going to have multiple laps on very worn softs, and when you're on worn tyres in Fuji, it really punishes you with the fast sweeping corners that it's got. So I'm very hesitant to say that that's a winning strategy today.
It's about the gap now. What can he conjure up? Because he's
conjured up nothing so far.
He's on the mediums. Well, Iggy's on the mediums compared to Super GT's soft. So if Super GT also Beaver dropped well off the back, but if Super GT can now conjure a gap, somewhere. If Super GT can conjure a gap here, he's going to be very hard to beat. He's just got to get it done here against Iggy and Javi. There's the front three. Let's see if we can go further back and see if anything is developing. We've got Morton Capel here. as we go through 10th and 11th. Vassador in 12th, Rupee in 13th, and Ryoki and Snipes are the two that are further back here. So, again, another bad day at the office for V2 after they started so strongly in the first two races of the season. They had a nightmare because of collisions last week, and I guess you can put another nightmare down to collisions again this week. Snipes, who might have had the pace on him this week, again involved with Slim, as he was involved with Devil last week.
Yeah, so we got Owen doing pretty well. I think he's in 8th place. Then we got Mortal in 10th for V2. Then Capel for Aero again in 11th. Then we've got Snipes at the back here, not scoring many. But Kanata's in 3rd in Lobby B at the moment, and Hurricane isn't in the top 8, so maximum 2 points for him if he's in 9th. So it's looking fairly even, slightly in Aero's favour, I would say, at the moment, purely because of Owen's performance here.
Yeah, Owen has got himself in a very good position. He's also fairly clear of Flays. He's got Kepler in that Lamborghini right behind him now. And that is never a good sign, unless you're trying to fight for a podium spot, then it probably is. But yeah, Kepler in this Lamborghini might be able to go after Flays down the straight. We'll wait, and even though he's not really cutting into that lead by any means down this straight.
Yeah.
He's going to be too far back, but he is getting closer and closer to Flays as we go along. Just about avoiding the back there. And we will wait and see whether or not Kepler is going to be able to recover as well as Slim had so far. Because Slim, if actually on that topic, Slim has got past Perry.
Yeah, Slim's doing really well. Perry obviously was really up there at the start of the race, battling with Super GT, but now Super GT's up in P1 and Perry's 16 seconds behind him.
And Owen is starting to close in.
Yeah, great news for Aero if Owen manages to catch and overtake Perry. 2 Tier 1 drivers, so and Slim as well. Actually, everyone's in Tier 1 apart from Super GT, who doesn't race on Mondays, in the top 7. Yeah,
that is right. But yeah. Let's have a look. So while they go through the 3rd sector, let's go back to the front and see if anything is developing. Super GT has not built a gap yet.
Absolutely
albeit that exit looked a little bit better than what Iggy was able to conjure up, even though Iggy is able to decrease the lead ever so slightly.
And he's got the slipstream, as does Javi, so they're still being pulled along by Super GT here, which is absolutely perfect for them. All they need is to stay with Super GT, stop him from creating that gap, like I said, and it's going to be difficult for Super GT. I know it's weird to say for the leader of the race, but I don't think things are looking overly good for him.
I would say that, but then all it takes for Super GT right now is Javi to get one corner better than Iggy, get right up to the back of him, they start fighting, and it could be potentially game over. It's finally balanced, I think, is the best way I'd put it right now, and quite frankly, could change on a whim.
Yeah. It's also good to see 3 completely different cars in the top 3 as well. So quite a balanced track. We've got the Mazda in P2, the M6 in P1, and the Lambo is who we're riding on board with.
As we go
and then another Mazda in 4th, and then a Lambo in 5th, so then it starts to get a little bit samey. And then a Mazda's in 6th as well. So, good actually, Mazda track.
It's M6 followed by a Mazda, followed by 3 Lamborghinis.
I thought Big Beaver. I've got Big Beaver and Zico mixed up. I don't know why.
That is very much the Italian make there.
Yeah, that is. It's because Zico's usually in this position for Project Platypus.
Oh, here we go. Javi is going after Iggy. He's not staying back. Or it didn't look like he would there. It's 3/10 of a second. If he wanted to make the move, he probably could. He is.
Yeah, it looks like Iggy's just found something though, because his car started accelerating quicker than Javi's. Now he's getting drawn back in again. I wonder if this is going to be enough for Javi to have a move. He's at 0.2 of a second down at the moment, but the braking zone's coming a little bit too close, I reckon. He's going for it. I don't
think it is. He's gone for it. Down the inside. He's tapped Iggy on the way through. And
dive bomb and a half.
That
is absolute dive bomb and a half.
I don't know whether or not you want to class that as too much contact, but that, in provisional, is a very good move.
I think the stewards may be deciding on that one if it was a push to pass or if it was perfect. I think it'll depend on whether Javi could have gone a little bit further to the right or maybe made the apex a bit better, but it looked pretty on the edge to me, which I think we like on the edge racing in ALR as opposed to over it.
It was a dive bomb. I'll credit it that. I'll say that much.
Absolutely.
He came from a while back, and if he'd made that stick, well, he has made that stick regardless of the contact, and nobody got hurt realistically, so he's made it completely stick. And it's an exceptional move, provided it's not deemed a push to pass.
Well, one Helix driver's just been overtaken, but in Lobby B, MZine has just taken the lead of the race over GT Ahmed, so it's not all bad news for Helix. Looks like they've got at least a podium, a mid-table, and a Lobby B win.
Yeah, I'd say it's only 2/3 bad news, because Flaze has been overtaken by Kepler.
Right, Kepler on a charge now.
So Ariks are starting to fight their way back, and this is huge. If Ariks can find their way back into 3, potential anyway, top 5 finishers, or top 6 potentially more realistic, it could be massive for them today. They're going to be the big scorers for certain. Ross, you should know that there is a difference between bumping and smashing people out the way.
I'm in my commentator's role. I'm not going to give any opinions on that instant until I've seen it.
Also, Javi overtaken Iggy as well on the last lap, as we saw, and now
losing time now
has well and truly opened the door. And as I said, in the lap that Iggy and Javi were fighting, all it takes is for one bad corner for Iggy, which means Javi will fight him, and that means it's game over. And I think we may have just witnessed that happen in real time.
Javi has to really get his head down and bring himself, and Iggy, to be fair, back up to Super GT. They don't have a slipstream anymore, which is crucial. Yes, Fracas, we can see your comments.
I have it on the bottom left corner of my screen. It'll pop up a little bit every so often, so I can see them. I do see them all. I just don't pay attention to most of them.
Absolutely fair. But yeah, Javi's lost another 0.3 of a second on Super GT on the infield section of this lap. So Super GT's tyres are still holding out for him. It doesn't look like we've got to the crossover period yet, because he is dropping Javi. I'm expecting this to be like 2 or 3 tenths quicker than Javi's lap that Super GT is about to set.
I'd say we're 11 laps through Super GT's stint now. And quite frankly, I don't think they're really going to give up in the next, in the next 4 laps. Because all he's going to do is a 15 and a 16. That's all he got to do. Yeah. And I think that's more than doable now we see a bigger picture. I just don't see a way he gets beat now, unless it's of his own doing, which he was last week. We saw it last week. He had Javier dead to rights at one point, and then made the mistake, got the penalty, and then you could see in real time the air come out of Super GT in that race. So it is possible.
Iggy's lining Javi up now. He's probably got fire lit under him after that overtake. Maybe swore a little bit to himself, and he's trying to reel in Javi. It looks like he's going to try a move. No, he ducks back in and stays behind Javi. Javi completely misses the apex anyway because of where Iggy put his car. So Javi out of position, out of shape here in these corners. Now Iggy is going to go for it. Really difficult corner to overtake on, and Javi squeezes him, a little bit of contact. Now Javi's got the inside line for these next couple of corners. Iggy's going to have to hang it around the outside, tuck back under Javi, and maybe try a switch back. Javi's all out of shape, and Iggy's on the outside again. Javi's entry into this corner is compromised, and Iggy could get the switch back and finally get a move done. This is great news for Super GT, who's now 4 seconds ahead of Iggy. And I'm sure the move's going to happen on the straight here.
All I'm going to say is that third sector, that little bit of a move that Iggy potentially made on Javi there in the third sector is just turnabout of fair play for the turn 1 move a couple of laps prior. So I guess it's 6 in one, half another in the other as a whole. And Iggy on the outside of turn 1. Can he get a good enough exit? It looks like he's got a nice little run.
That's fantastic.
And he's just
this time they avoid contact. Iggy, that is a fantastic overtake from Iggy. Around the outside of a hairpin is nigh on impossible, and he just finishes the job off by making that corner. And he's lost a good 4.3 seconds to Super GT, but he's finally got his P2 back for Helix.
Yeah, and instead of working together, he's very much handed this one on a plate to Super GT now. you give Super GT a 4-second gap, there is not a huge chance you get that back. So it's, as I said before, especially if he is doing the double soft, that was very much in the rearview mirror.
Out of absolutely nowhere there on the entry.
I was about to say, that was a very much rearview mirror there from Harry. But yeah, it's very much advantage Super GT now. I don't really think don't take a genius to say that either. Harry's got the inside line, not really able to make a move stick here on Iggy though. Again, they're just going to be trading positions every lap. That's all this is going to be. Harry's got the straight line speed, I guess, over Iggy.
Is it going to be enough to get a move done on Iggy into turn 1? He's quite far back, 0.4 of a second. I'm not sure if this is going to be enough. He's going to start reeling him in. Maybe if he tries another move like he did last time, and just absolutely sends it that he's close enough.
I was about to say, we have seen the Mazda's breaking point being the reason for a move before. It's not the reason for a move today on this corner though. But Iggy, a little bit wide, does still hold that position on Happy though. Beaver has been brought back into this.
Yeah, Beaver really dropped off the back of them a few laps ago. We're not entirely sure why. Potentially a penalty, but now he's got an outside chance of a podium once again, especially if there's anything in the steward's room after this race.
Yeah, he's also got a 9-second gap to Slim, who's also broke 3.5 seconds to Perry. So Slim might be in trouble with the stewards, or might be in trouble having to defend with snipes in the steward's room, or whatever you want to chart those couple of incidents down to. But it might not even be it might be a mute point entirely, because Perry cannot keep up.
No, but the tables are about to turn. Slim's about to go onto the mediums. He's completely run out of fuel now, so he's either pitting this lap or next. And Perry's on the mediums, and Slim's going to have to go on the mediums, and Perry will go back on the softs and have another go at him later on in the race. So it's not over for the top 5 for Perry at all. He's still got a good chance. And if you get 2 of the top 5, that's going to be a good night for Project Platypus.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's going to be almost as good of a night as what Eric's are currently having. If they can get a couple of their drivers...
Where is Ryoki and Rupee?
Right at the back is the answer to that question. It looks like Ryoki's only... It's actually right at the back of Mortal. V2 just have not got going since the early points of this race with the incidents with Eric's.
Yeah, Mortal's dropped right back. He was up there with Capale, and Capale's in the top 10 now, and Mortal's down in 13th.
Yeah, and it looks like Ryoki, who we know has pace, he's qualified 7th, he's got to get it going, because he hasn't been getting it going.
But then he had his spin. He was doing really well until his spin.
Yeah. It was definitely the best, I think, overall performance we've seen from Ryoki up until that point, for certain. Is definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, his best qualifying we've seen in ALR. That is for certain. But yeah, he's not going to get Mortal here. The same car, but Mortal's just got a little bit more down that straight. We're not going to stick with that much more, because we're going to go a little bit further forward. Asseldor and Capale. Asseldor, well, quite frankly, has a couple of moves, a couple of things that are definitely going to the steward's room. So we'll see if he can get past Capale here. He's got to start breaking a gap. Rupee is also on this double, about to make it a
Rupee's
triple
with
here.
This as well, yeah. So Rupee's done well, because he was right at the back, and now he's sticking it in with some of these other guys on this stint.
Here we go. Asseldor might be going for the GTR here on the outside. He brakes very late, but he missed the corner entirely.
That was easy for Capale, actually. Asseldor actually just tucked in right behind him, and Rupee is really close behind now. Super GT's in the pits,
As I said, he did his 15.
Crucial.
He did his 15.
Is he going to come out in traffic? That is the question.
So Super GT did his 15. He's going to put 16
of
laps in now. So it's not impossible by any means. So I think this is going to be a very difficult race for anyone to beat Super GT from this point onwards, unless he goes on to mediums for some godforsaken reason here.
Or if he comes out in traffic right about now. He's still in the pits, as we've got
that
group of 3 cars coming through. He's on his way out.
Let's see, is he coming out into traffic?
Someone's just overtaken.
No,
that's Blaze.
The answer is he's not coming out into traffic,
he's
realistically.
On the softs. He's going to catch Blaze this lap, and that's going to be the only potential to stop him from getting a huge undercut on Iggy and Javi in this pit stop and having quite a large lead as we head into the final phase. He'll have worse tyres for the rest of the stint. Oh,
okay,
bit of an overtake there. Yeah, Ryoki trying to move on Mortal there, but Mortal keeping position.
Yeah, Slim also pitted, so that you can see the difference is quite significant. It's 6 or 7 places there between Super GT and Slim, which was the gap between 1st and 5th not that long ago. So it's significant, the gap between the front 4 and the rest of the group. Yeah, Super GT should catch Flays. Honestly, if he can time this correctly, he might be able to catch him going into the back straight, and I will take that comment straight back because Flays absolutely botched the chicane. And
yeah, his car was pointing a unique way around that corner when we joined it.
Yeah, Flays absolutely botched that chicane. So Super GT is already on the back of him, and this is going to be made very, very easy. Here comes really Beaver. So Beaver's going to have, what, 15
Beaver's going to have a great chance to get an undercut on Javi and Iggy here.
Yeah,
but he's going to have to put in more fuel than them too. That's for sure.
Yeah, and here we go. So Super GT is our current leader of the race. We will
Flays
see
really needs to defend hard here. Super GT is the biggest threat to Helix at the moment.
He certainly is in this race, and it's not defended at all in the slightest. As Super GT goes to the inside, but he got a bit deep!
Oh!
He got a bit deep, and Flays is going to switch back. He didn't defend it, and he got away with it somehow. And he's still ahead of Super GT as they head down through turn 2, now into 3. Super GT can have the inside if he wants it, and he is going to have the inside, but Flays, again, with the deep exit, has got himself in a position to hold on. They're still holding on, and he's held him on.
This is exactly what he didn't want. This is exactly what Super GT didn't want. He's losing time now to Iggy and Javi. This was his golden moment to stretch an unassailable lead, and he's stuck behind the Helix driver, who actually made it fairly easy for him.
Yeah, he made it ridiculous lead into turn 1. If I were to watch that back, I wouldn't be too impressed with Flays. But the rest of the lap, I could say that Flays has done an extremely good job. Super GT has essentially just lost the lap of this race down behind the Helix driver, and this might open the door once again here for Iggy and Javi later on in this race. Bearing in mind, they'll put in less fuel, they'll put in a bunch of different, onto the soft tires as well, and we're about to figure out whether or not Flays has done a good enough job. Flays has done an outstanding time defending from Super GT. It's definitely over now, though, as we go through down towards turn 1. The back straight is all that separates Super GT and the lead of this race. Flays has defended well during the lap, didn't defend well into turn 1, however, and won't have any sort of chance to do it this time. And there's the exit of the pit lane. Javi has gone on to 57, Iggy 63%, and they're both coming out behind Super GT. Javi is currently just about 3 seconds.
Yeah,
the gap has shortened down, but it's not
very
close
small
enough.
gap. Flays has done an absolutely stellar job there for his teammate. Iggy unfortunately loses position to Javi. Beaver got stuck behind Capale for a lap, which has meant that he's now 4 seconds behind Iggy, just ahead of Astor, who's yet to pit as well. So advantage Super GT is ahead of Flays. Flays is probably going to start holding up Javi next.
Yeah,
and Perry, meanwhile, is lead of the race, which I wasn't expecting to see.
Super GT, I don't think Super GT has a lot of thing to do. He has 14 laps worth of fuel in his car there. He does not have a lot of fuel saving to do in the slightest. He should be fine.
It's not that good on fuel, though. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but he did 14 on half a tank of fuel earlier on in this particular race. So he shouldn't have too many issues.
He's doing 16 laps though.
Yeah, but he's already done 3 of them.
Oh right, yeah. We're on 14 left now.
He's already done 3 of them.
Yep.
Well, he's about to finish his 3rd one. So
is Javi caught up to Flays?
Javi got a lot more fuel than Super GT, by the way.
Flays coming into the pits now.
Oh, is he? He may be looking to break the toe originally. No, you're right, he is into the pits. Yeah, no break, and so no holding up of Javi whatsoever. If anything, he just handed him a little bit of toe on the way down. What turned into great defending has turned into helping the direct opposition. So that's the change of what a lap can do, I guess.
So, Iggy put in a lot of fuel there. He put in 63%, which was a lot more than Javi. So what Iggy is doing in this final stint, he's sacrificed track position, but he is going to be able to fully push in this Mazda now and take advantage of every extra horsepower that he can get. He's not going to be short shifting at all, which I'm not sure if Javi's going to be. It sounds like, from what we see in the chat, that Super GT is slightly short shifting. So it could come back to Iggy if he can take advantage of the amount of fuel that he's got on board.
3.4 seconds, the gap between Javi and Super GT. You can add an extra second on top of that between Iggy and Super GT, and that's not a good gap. That's not a good place to be in terms of winning the race. In terms of Super GT has already won 2 of the 3. The only other person to beat Super GT this season is the car directly in front of the Hilux driver right now. So it's not impossible. It's quite a huge ask, though, to come back from this point in this race. We're 33 laps through. Usually we'll see the overtakes happen for the lead of the race at round 7 from the end. So you might see something happen, but I doubt it at the front. I think Super GT should have enough without issue here. Perry now into the pits. We'll see where he comes out. Iggy obviously well ahead of Beaver. Beaver's now coming down the straight, but he's essentially on his own, apart from Rupee, who is actually not pitted yet, and quite frankly should
not sure why. He's got loads of fuel left in his tank as well.
He certainly
maybe he's going for a
11.
glory run at the end potentially, but I don't think that's necessary.
I'm about to say he certainly doesn't have 11 in the tank, so he can't go to the end.
Ryoki's on the same strategy as him, so they've clearly worked out something very different to the other teams here in terms of strategy.
Certainly interesting. They'll have to put in a lot less fuel at the end than everyone else just did. So they may be just trying to use the overcut, I think, is actually a better is the actual term for this, so to see if they can gain any positions out of it. Bear in mind, these two have been relatively toward the back of the entire race.
Yeah.
That did not look too good there by Ryoki. Let's see if he gets a 5-10 penalty for that. He looks like he might have avoided that.
He's getting away with it. He's
Slim
just got
Slim
catching up to him now as well, yeah.
Perry 2.5 off the back of Slim. Slim on the medium.
So that
tires,
is the
Perry
battle for P5, realistically. Perry has 2.5 seconds to catch up to Slim. What are they both on softs?
And
Keplero's there
Slim
as
is
well.
on mediums. Slim is on mediums, and I think Keplero might be the favourite for P5 here.
Absolutely. It will be a great recovery drive for him if he does get back up to P5. He shot down all the way to the back of the grid after that final corner incident at the beginning of the race. But yeah,
there we go. He's going to be right on the back
here.
Form. Right on the back of Perry, and this might be it. This might be a position here for Keplero. Let's see if he goes for it. We have a pit stop here for, I believe that was Ryoki who's just come in. It is Ryoki that's just come in, so Rupee's gone on an extra lap. Here comes Keplero. He's going to go to the outside here. Perry's got to force him to the outside, and he will do exactly that. So, the Mazda braking is not it's an interesting sight. A little bit of netcode collision there.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, they get around fairly comfortably. Perry keeps his position pretty well there. And Kep's going to have to try for another lap. But basically, what Arex need is for Kep to overtake Perry before Perry can catch Slim.
Yeah, absolutely. It's their best way of holding up and potentially gaining an extra couple of points out of this. Otherwise, Slim is going to get overtaken by, at the absolute minimum, Perry and Keplero. But I wouldn't discount Owen here either.
Yeah, Owen lurking in the background, waiting for them to start battling, and then he'll close in pretty quickly in that Nissan.
Yeah, everyone else is seemingly driving on their own at the moment. So we'll just focus on the mid pack for now. Actually, it's what this is. Keplero is still right to the back of Perry. Perry is closing in quite rapidly on the back of Slim. 1.6 now. It was 2.5 when we looked at it last. Oh, that did not look too good on the traction there by Perry, coming out the second and last. As we go through the final corner now, Slim is still doing a good job of holding on to that second gap at the moment. And Keplero, however, is a lot closer. 0.3 of a second. This should be enough. He's got all the time in the world down this straight to get it done. They're heading down now again. Perry, if he's got common sense, is going to force him to the outside. Kepler is going to go into the slipstream and then go back to the outside to try and make the move around the outside. It's well defended here by Perry again. He's going to have the inside line with a better exit, a little bit of AstroTurf, and a little bit of contact to go with.
Perry survives again. And yeah, that move was never on for Kepler. Sticking his nose in, but he's going to lose a bit of time through the corner because he was out of position on entry there. Only really one optimal line through that corner. Perry's going to survive at least for another lap, and Abe will be able to potentially close in to Slim by the time we get to the slipstream on the main straight.
Yep, and I think Kepler has not only missed one glorious opportunity, he's missed two. And you don't usually get a third. Especially if you're in Slim's position here, anyway here, because that's essentially what Kepler is fighting for right now, which how far back is Slim going to drop. Yeah, going through the sector 3, Perry is well and truly, actually, yeah, I think he just about got within slipstream range as they go through the second to last now. Kepler is still hanging in on the back of that Mazda, as we're going to watch. Yeah, he's well within slipstream range now, well within. And it's 6 tenths, 5 tenths, just over 6 tenths again. Rupee is now heading into the pit, so we'll now get a true vision of... Oh, no, he's not. He's dummying dummy call, I guess.
What's he up to?
That's the second dummy call I think we've seen from Rupee today. Which
he's going to be on fire at the end of the race when he catches any cars ahead of him, at least.
That is true, but I don't know whether or not he could just... wildly, it would be absolutely wild, but there is a potential that he might just be trying this. No, he's not. No, he can't. He can't.
This is definitely his last lap now.
He's
done well to stick with Beaver, though, to give credit to him.
Done a number on Beaver at the moment. Bro doing the
dolly with no one in sight.
I think we'll call it a dummy, but I think he realised he had enough for one more lap.
It was definitely him just not knowing what he wanted to do. That's what it was.
Yeah, the dummy got caught in two minds. I think he realised very late that he actually had enough in the tank to do one more, which I think is his choice.
Some bad news for Helix in Lobby B. Ahmed has just overtaken Emzine for the lead of the race there. So those 12 points for Lobby B will turn to 10 for Emzine. He does have the fastest lap, so we get a point for that. But yeah, the fact that Ahmed is in existence in Lobby B is getting in the way of Helix's strategy.
I will say this, Javi has absolutely cut that lead. It's 2 seconds now. It was, what was it, just over 3, I think it was when we came out the pits. It's now 2. Iggy's there as well. Obviously, I have a significant gap to Beaver, and Rupee...
Is he out of fuel?
No, he's still alive.
Oh, okay.
He's coming into the pits for real this time. They might have been potentially looking for another dummy there for some reason. But yeah, he's coming in. He's going onto the soft tyres because he can't be going anything else. So we'll have 8 laps to go. The real question is he going to be able to spend as little time in the pits as possible here to potentially get Asador and company?
Yeah, he doesn't actually need to put in that much fuel compared to when everyone else came in the pits because they were empty and he... Oh, what is going on here? Perry's caught up to Slim. He's trying to stick his nose in. This is a really tough corner to get it done. Slim holds it around the outside. And Kepler is right behind as well for company.
Yeah, that's it. Perry should have focused on not going for it there because Kepler is now right behind him and he's going to go wide.
He's going for
it. And Perry to the inside! And he hits Slim!
And he collects Slim. No!
He slid Slim and there goes Kepler as well. Kepler should be about to go on through. The Mazda doesn't have a good braking zone here into the chicane. He is still somehow ahead, but he will get penalised by Slim because that is blatant. Oh no! Oh, that's retaliation! That's blatant retaliation!
Oh my god, my ears.
Oh, there's no argument about that one!
Oh my goodness. Alright, this is a mess. Perry's down to 9th. Owen, once again, just up in the top 6 randomly. Slim's going incredibly slow. Why is he going incredibly slow? I hope he doesn't do something Sonic-like and get himself kicked from the league.
I was about to say, he is waiting for Perry.
Unless he's waiting for Perry to let Perry overtake, because it was a genuine mistake.
I don't think we can... It didn't look like it.
Well, we didn't see. All we saw was the murder.
It was very coincidental. Yeah.
I think he's given the position back.
He's definitely giving it back. He's definitely giving it back. I'm not sure I'm willing to say that that was a genuine mistake. Given what happened literally one corner prior, we had it last season with Snipes as well. I'm not willing to call that anything other than retaliation.
Well, I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt. I think that we would need to see the replay because he might have just completely missed his braking point. BX said he might have had dirty tyres as well. But yeah, let's have a look at what's happening at the front because Super GT is wide. We just saw a little mistake from him. Now he's only 1.3 seconds ahead of Javi. The victory is far from guaranteed for Super GT at this point. Javi is reeling him in at a rate of knots here, and he's got better tyres, and Iggy's there for company as well. We've got a three-way fight for the victory in the last 6 laps of this race.
At this point, we're straight up building a WrestleMania card with the amount of fights we've had in this one race and then Tier 1 as well. It's just insane. Yeah, Iggy is 1 second behind. And also Super GT, as you said, been reeled in. Javi is going to give this a go. We saw this last week, and it's essentially a return on what was happening last week. Last week, Javi had the early pit, had to stick for as long as possible. Super GT with the car chasing that day, and was going to do it fairly comfortably as well.
Though, yeah.
And then got the penalty and essentially quit on winning the race after that point. Got back into gear later on in that race, a couple of laps later, but by that point it was too late. This time, we've got Javi as the chasing car on Super GT. And Iggy is the car directly behind, who's in within a second, which might throw another spanner in the works here. And if you're Super GT, whether you're feeling confident you can hold this second or not, you would feel slightly more confident if Iggy was to fight Javi right about now.
Yeah, but I have a feeling Iggy's not going to fight Javi, because if I'm Iggy, I'm thinking Javi's got a 5-second penalty. Let's wait and see if Javi can fight with Super GT, because if I can finish ahead of Super GT, I might have the race win here. That's what I would be thinking if I was Iggy right now.
You're going based off the potential push to pass earlier on in turn 1.
Yeah, the one that Viking's not happy about in the chat.
Yeah, so there is a potential one there. I'm not a fan of the little contacts to go by when Iggy, I know for a fact, is someone who is a proponent of that. We've had this argument a few times already as to how much contact is enough contact. I'm not a fan of it.
7/10 of a second, by the way. So this is the first time that we've dipped under a second. Super GT is getting caught quite rapidly now. Javi's completely dropped Iggy as well. Iggy's
yellow flag.
Yellow flag for who?
Who is it?
It's the car. It's the lapped car. It's Snipes.
Yeah, and a bad day for V2 has just gone from bad to worse. I think we've seen a couple of incidents that might be branded as some sort of retaliation, especially in the stewards by the people who report them anyway. Oh, it's been a messy one. We might have to do something about the standards here. It's been extremely messy tonight.
We've got some teams very close to qualifying bans. Halix just had to serve a qualifying ban themselves. Might be some more on the way.
Yeah, there's a lot that might happen in the stewards. I feel sorry for you. I'm glad that I'm
they've
not
got to get
steward.
reported first. These things have a habit of never being reported. The ones that we seem dead certain on are going to be. So let's just wait and see.
It is the person. It's depending on the person, I guess. We will definitely have a few of them that will absolutely be reported. But you're not getting off scot-free, I don't think, later on.
Last week was quiet, so we had to have something had to happen today, didn't it?
We say last week was quiet as if we didn't have a couple of T-modes into turn 4 at Sardinia.
Just the 3 reports across 2 lobbies. It's not too bad.
But yeah, also Owen is going after Kepler out here.
How's Javi doing though? That's what I want to know.
Not close enough. The answer is that he's running out of time. So Super GT is doing enough as it stands, but we could be heading in the direction. Iggy's dropped off the back, so I don't think Iggy's going to be doing too much. Also, it got very dull very quickly. We might see a last couple of laps of rain, and that could throw everything into chaos. If that is to be the case, it is getting darker and darker as we go along. Super GT might actually be praying for a little bit of rain right now. But we'll wait, and I don't think he's going to get it. I do want the carnage. I do want a little bit of rain just to spice things up a little bit further. I say that as if we haven't got a half a second fight for the lead.
I know, right? Right, so this is the most important part of the lap for Javi. He's closed into about 3/10, and he has to stick to this distance around these really tight, twisty sections of the track where he's going to be getting some dirty air from the BMW M6 right in front of him, taking a very different angle into the corner than Super GT. Trying to get a good exit. He's 4/10 behind as it stands. This might be enough for a move. We have to wait and see.
It might
Super GT's already going defensive to the right and then going to the left.
Back to the line, so that's the one move that Super GT's allowed. So let's see if there's going to be any sort of dive bomb here late from Javi. Well, Super GT's come all the way back to go around the
outside. Super GT's gonna
deep
go
again.
wide
They both got deep. They both got deep.
Is on for Javi. Javi's got a much better exit. This is potentially the race lead for Javi. He's got enough to get ahead of him as well.
He got him. He got him in the race lead. Goes from FGR to Arix momentarily. Super GT is going to fight this back. He's got to go round the outside.
Whoa.
He squeezed a little bit, and he's still there and thereabouts. Javi back to the inside, returns the favour on the exit there. Super GT on the inside of the long right-hander, a little bit of a switchback. And here comes Javi again. These two fighting tooth and nail through the second sector as we go down towards the chicane. And we go down towards the beginning of the third sector. The BMW still in the lead, still pulling across, and there's contact!
Oh, contact!
And there's contact between Super GT and Javi, and we're not done yet.
Goes Iggy. Iggy just inherits the lead. Javi clearly waiting for Super GT there by the looks of things, or has he just decided to go anyway? I don't know. But yeah, that was a mistake for Javi. He's letting Super GT back through. Fortunately for him, Big Beaver was too far back, but Super GT is going to be furious with that. Another mistake by an Arix driver in this race. And Iggy is going to get the first victory for Helix in Esports. He's got a 7-second lead on Super GT now, with 2 laps to go.
All of a sudden, it's game, set, match. There you go. Iggy shouldn't have a problem from here. 7 seconds is rather
unassailable. But is Javi going to try and move on Super GT now? He waited and let him pass, and now he's going to start battling him again by the looks of things. Super GT staying as far to the left as possible. He's not having any of it.
Here we go.
No, is he going to make the apex, though?
Looked like he is this time.
A little bit wide again.
He is this time. Javi's going to go for the switchback, though. And he's going to get it again. 2 laps on the trot there for Javi. And this time, there's not enough room for Super GT to fight his way back into it.
They were fighting side by side for an entire lap, and then it ended in disaster.
I was about to say...
Such good racing, and it all just came crumbling right at the last second.
Super GT should have enough fuel from here, yeah.
Yeah, we're on 2 times fuel, not 3 times, so it should be enough for an extra lap.
Iggy has been handed this win on a silver platter in the end. It's absolutely stroke of fortune for Helix, I guess. In a championship that went against them last week, and I guess it's returning the favour and going for them this week. And I think Javi might not be having the nicest conversation with Super GT at the end of this one, because he had very much just yanked that win away from Super GT.
Yeah, this is so... I actually feel really bad for Super GT here. That was such good defending, and it got past Javi once again after getting overtaken on these worn tyres, and he's slightly short shifting as well, which is just... he'll be thinking he should have won this. Absolutely. We're heading into the final lap now. He's probably not got enough in him to challenge Javi at this point, with the tyres looking mighty worn, especially on the front left.
At the end of the day, with these two's positions are going to be reversed. That's surely got to be the case when we come at the end of this one.
Well, have he waited for him? Have he waited? So
I don't.
he would get penalty
know.
points, but
I
we
don't know if I'm happy
penalise
with
if the
that.
car waits.
I'm
Well,
not sure I'm
that's
happy
the
with
rules.
that.
Oh, what's he doing? He's put his flashes on and then he took them off. Someone reported that in Tier 4 at the beginning of the season.
But yeah, Iggy's been handed an absolute gift, and Super GT just sliding the car a little bit there, saved it. But it doesn't come any easier than this, I guess, if you're Iggy. He's coming through the final sector now, and he's going to be completely unchallenged.
Yeah. Should we join Iggy for his last few corners, give him his moment of glory?
Yeah,
it was a frustrating race for Iggy. He was keeping up with the top guys, got overtaken a little bit audaciously by Javi at one point, and then got jumped in the pits as well. So since then, it kind of looked like a solid P3, but he's going to come round the final corner now. The man who said that he is washed and this is too quick of a lobby for him to get a race win in, well, he's just proved everyone wrong. The first driver for Helix to ever get a race victory in ALR Esports consolidates their position at the top of the championship. Iggy in P1. Javi gets P2 in the end, ahead of Super GT in third place. Then a huge gap down to Big Beaver.
Yeah, absolutely insane. It's a gift, but it's a gift that Helix will take every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And in the end, Iggy isn't going to be complaining by any means. 7 seconds, the marginal victory, and he should not have got it in the end. But, well, Javi and Super GT are going to feel like they were with both of their races to lose, but Iggy is going to take the gift. Beaver gets 4th, Kepler gets 5th, Owen gets 6th, Perry gets 7th, sorry, he beats Flays out in the end. Slim gets 9th after basically every single thing that happened from start to finish in that race. Asador will get 10th, Capale will get 11th, just about beating Rupee to the line. Ryoki will get 13th, Mortal will get 14th, and I think that was Snipes who left the room early, will end up at the back of the grid.
Yep, he was 15th anyway. So, let's have a quick look at these standings. I'm just going to start updating them quickly. If you go into the screen. So, Javi second. I need the first page.
Yeah, no, he's just taking screenshots.
Okay. So, P4 is the best that Project Platypus managed. They've managed at least a podium. Oh no, I tell a lie. They've managed a podium every single round, but round 1 was a podium in Lobby B, so that doesn't really count.
Well, we are artificially inflating stats here. And it technically is a podium in every single round, but it's a...
Okay, next page, please. So, 3 in the top 9 in the end for Arix. So, despite the trials and tribulations, they still got some good results. Aero GT a P6 and a P11, not too bad for them in their quest for the top 5. Then we've got Ruppy in 12th and Ryoki in 13th. That's not too good for them, but they did finish ahead of the V2 boys, 14th and 15th. Mzine wins and gets fastest lap for Helix. So the first team to get a double win in the same night in 2 different lobbies, which is a nice little statistic for them to have as well.
Oh, Super GT actually seems relatively calm. He's saying he's not going to do anything about it.
Okay.
Because he said he could have had a win, but he still has a few races, so it's not that bad. Surprisingly calm, much calmer than I would be given the same position, I think.
Yeah.
Are they a few incidents that is going to be talked about here for certain. Yeah. Snipes and Slim going back and forth as well. Slim asking Snipes if it was intentional, and Snipes saying, "Yeah, man, I ruined my race intentionally," which has to be the most sarcastic answer anyone's ever said.
That's a fair comeback, to be honest. Right, this last one is 10th place. So, let's see if that actually changed the order. It doesn't change the order. Oh, yes, it does. Hold on. Panthera with 2 drivers actually overtake Pegasus in the standings because Wesley came back and then took the another podium, so 4 podiums in Lobby B in a row for Wesley. Arix actually overtake FGR today. FGR down to 4th, Arix up to 3rd. Arix are 14 points behind Project Platypus. Project Platypus are 31 behind Halix. So closing... Were they close? I don't think they closed the gap, actually. But the gap is still fairly close between them. 31 points there.
Well then, we're only through 4 of these. I'd like to point that out.
Through.
We are halfway through the season, 2/3 of the way through the elimination phase. Yep. And, yeah, 2 more to go. It's Kyoto and it's Lago Maggiore. The 2 left that all 10 teams will drive in. Then we'll go to the top 5 for Interlagos and Le Mans. And this is just anyone's game continuing through the first 6. I think it's just... everyone is just... I don't even know how to describe it at this point. Everyone's just causing incidents with everyone, and it's just unpredictable as all hell.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, so this is... Okay, so a quick look at these standings. Let's just see. This is great news for Aero GT. So their 2 drivers in Lobby A absolutely dominated the 2 drivers from V2 and Lobby A who finished 14th and 15th there. So Aero GT now have a 15-point advantage over them in the race for 5th place. Both of them are still miles ahead of everyone else. Then you got Panthera 59, Pegasus 56, Falcon 55, really close to the battle for P7. Then another gap to Kavar, who are at the back on 40 points. The battle between 2nd and 3rd and 4th is pretty close. There's just 22 points separating 2nd and 4th as well. So anything can happen with them. A bit of better luck for Feel Good Racing. And, well, to be honest, if Arix can just string a race together where they don't get involved in incidents and spins, they would be comfortably in 2nd place right now.
Yeah, it's a lot. We had Kepler bottle it last week. We just had Javi give up essentially a win there, colliding with Super GT. We had Slim involved with incidents with Snipes, and then also in one with Perry and for good measure. Yeah, they need to get it together, Arix, I think. Javi is doing a good job. Kepler did a far better job to recover than he should have been able to do today. He got 5th, so a potential redeeming for quality from last week. They've got a lot to fight for. They've got a lot of points that they can get. FGR, they just need to get Super GT some help. I said it all season, and it hasn't happened. We're through 4 races. He's just, for whatever reason, Ryoki had a good run today, then span. Rupi has had a good start had good qualifying, and then fell back. For whatever reason, they're just not helping Super GT in these races. And then, well, Project Platypus are just existing, I think, at the moment. They're just picking off everyone else's mistakes.
Yeah, Perry had a solid race. Astrodor we saw get into incidents. Actually, Perry had a bit of an incident of his own, actually, so I take back the solid race. Big Beaver, really, really good race for him to get P4. Stuck on with the front 3 as long as possible, but did drop away in the end, which is not too much of a surprise, having watched Tier 1 week in, week out, but still very solid for him. Star for me is Keplero, to be honest. 23 seconds back after what we saw happen. He was 15th in the opening stage of the race, recovered massively. And, yeah, star of the race for me by far for Kep.
Yeah. Just, that was carnage. And that was one way to end halfway through the season, I guess. But we'll be back this time next week for probably another carnage-filled race around Kyoto with a lot of tire wear. So, yeah, we'll see you same time, same place next week. I'll be doing Lobby A as far as I'm aware. Ross will join me for the race. And I think Vexed will be doing Lobby B, and you'll do qualifying with him for that. But
yes,
apart from that, we will see you guys all 8 p.m. on the dot next week in a bit.